What would happen if, upon opening your eyes, you discovered that the image you have projected for so long is merely a distorted reflection of a hidden reality? You, who walk between light and shadow, stand at a crossroads where every word, every gesture, and every silence is part of a narrative woven from deception. From your very first breath, you were introduced to a world where authenticity is disguised as convenience, and what you call truth turns out to be a fragile construction shaped by interests, fears, and customs. Today, I invite you to dive into the labyrinth of your own convictions and challenge the story you have been told, the one that has guided your steps without you realizing that, in essence, you have been an actor in a play written by others. Each day, without noticing, you move through carefully orchestrated narratives. Since your early years, the voices around you, those of the people who were supposed to love you, those who claimed to protect you, became the foundation of a building made of illusions. Perhaps you recall moments when your words fell short under the weight of hidden emotions, when the smile you showed was merely a mask for an inner pain no one noticed. In those moments, the facade you presented to the world was the answer to a question you never asked yourself: how much of what you live is genuine, and how much is the product of a carefully constructed artifice? It is no coincidence that, as you go through life, your surroundings offer you pre-packaged narratives. The speeches you hear, the headlines you read, and the repeated, unquestioned statements are part of a system that gradually convinces you to accept the obvious without questioning it. From the news to the words of leaders, truth transforms into a blurry resource, where the raw becomes softened and the painful is wrapped in kind words. Without realizing it, you have adopted the habit of preferring the comforting veil of illusion over the inescapable harshness of reality. Within you, the conflict rages in silence. The narrative you build to protect yourself has become the very barrier that, while shielding you, also imprisons you. You have grown accustomed to disguising your fears and masking your weaknesses with empty affirmations, with phrases you repeat to quiet the inner storm. But that same defense turns into a trap, a prison that prevents you from seeing beyond the veil you have erected. Each time you say, "I'm fine," it is a silent scream hiding the fragility of a soul that, deep down, longs to break free from the invisible chains that bind it. In this vast stage of contradictions, you discover that deception is not exclusive to others. It exists in every corner of your being. Humanity has adopted falsehood as an almost inherent language, a tool as sharp as a knife that can both protect and wound. The ancients told stories of gods and heroes who, with enchanted words, wove alternate realities. Today, in a world oversaturated with information, the ability to turn a simple story into an unshakable truth is the greatest power one can wield. By absorbing every lesson without questioning its origin, you become entangled in a dance where fear, convenience, and habit conspire to keep you in a comfort zone that is nothing more than a gilded cage. The reason behind this tendency for self-deception is as complex as it is revealing. You convince yourself that it is preferable to live in an illusion of security rather than face a reality that can wound with the brutality of its naked truth. The comfort of the familiar, the acceptable, takes precedence over the uncertainty of the unknown. Thus, in every encounter, in every shared silence, you choose the refuge of the predictable, unaware that this choice, day by day, is shaping a fragmented existence. Have you noticed how, in moments of crisis, you cling to softened stories, to trim down truths that fit your deepest fears? This tendency to avoid pain makes you vulnerable, because in trying to evade suffering, you immerse yourself in a sea of falsehoods that pull you away from the possibility of rediscovering who you truly are. Contradictions intertwine in every experience, and it is within this web that the paradox of freedom hides. Brutal honesty, the kind stripped of embellishments, can be devastating, but it is also the first step toward rebuilding an authentic identity. That voice whispering in the silence invites you to question, to dismantle every narrative imposed as unchangeable, to break the chains that have subtly defined each of your steps. It is not about rejecting everything you have been taught, but about learning to distinguish between what protects you and what imprisons you. True transformation lies in the ability to discern between the truths that build you and the lies that limit you. Look at the world around you. In every corner, in every conversation, The ability to control the narrative is the defining trait of those who have left a mark on history. Leaders, artists, and visionaries have always known that by shaping the interpretation of events, reality itself can be reconfigured. You also possess this power, though perhaps you have pushed it aside out of fear of confronting what you truly are. History shows that sometimes, a well-told lie becomes the foundation of immeasurable power. However, that same tool turns dangerous when it is used to conceal the essence of who you are, to disguise the cracks that, deep down, long to be healed. The human mind, in its attempt to protect itself, constructs barriers that ultimately suffocate authenticity. You have learned to edit your memories, to restructure each experience based on what you find bearable. The story you tell yourself is, ultimately, a collage of fragments, a blend of distorted moments tailored to your emotional needs. This is not a conscious process, but a survival mechanism that allows you to move forward without being overwhelmed by the harshness of what has happened. However, by distorting the past, you risk losing connection with a truth that, though painful, offers you the opportunity to grow and evolve. The internal struggle you experience is a constant battle between the comfort of illusion and the liberation that honesty offers. Every day, as you face the mirror, you find yourself in a dichotomy where the external image opposes the inner truth. That duality forces you to question not only what others have told you but also what you tell yourself. The narrative you have built, with its ups and downs and contradictions, is so powerful that, over time, it comes to define itself as your reality. Have you noticed how the repeated echo of your own lies can transform a simple invention into the story that governs your existence? The challenge lies in breaking that cycle, in finding the courage to dismantle every fragment of falsehood and reconstruct, from the ground up, a narrative that is nourished by authenticity. It is not an easy task, for every word you have spoken and every idea you have accepted forms part of such a complex web that unraveling it requires an almost inhuman bravery. Throughout your life, you have comfortably accepted the edited versions of events, avoiding the harshness that could shatter the delicate balance you have managed to maintain. But the price of that apparent stability is an existence chained to a narrative that does not fully belong to you. Reflect on the source of your convictions. Where do those certainties that have served as your anchor for so long come from? The answer may lie in the need to avoid pain, in the desire for the world to be a less terrifying place. Society, with its carefully polished discourses and half-truths, has taught you to fear complete honesty, to see in it not only the possibility of liberation but also the threat of uncertainty. The apparent strength of a well-told lie stands in opposition to the challenge of facing a reality stripped of embellishments, where every imperfection becomes visible and, at times, unbearable. However, deep within you, there is a spark that longs for transformation, a voice that urges you to tear down the walls that separate you from what is essential. That part of you that refuses to conform to a prefabricated narrative has the ability to discover in truth, no matter how raw, the path to freedom. With every step, I invite you to closely observe your own processes, to detect the small cracks in the structure of your convictions, and to allow the walls you have built around yourself to slowly crumble. It is in this act of dismantling lies, both those imposed on you and those you have chosen to embrace, that the possibility of rebirth lies. Authenticity is not an unattainable goal but a constant process of self-exploration, of bravery in the face of uncertainty, and of commitment to a reality that, though challenging, offers you the opportunity to live fully. Every edited memory, every softened word, and every complicit silence can be reconstructed into a narrative that honors what you were, what you are, and what you long to become. Thus, the first step to transforming your existence is to recognize that truth, no matter how painful, has the power to set you free. The road ahead is filled with challenges but also brimming with possibilities. As you uncover the overlapping layers of your story, you will learn to distinguish between the lies that have kept you safe and those that have, in reality, robbed you of the opportunity to know your own essence. The wisdom that arises from questioning every narrative, from carefully analyzing every word that has shaped your life, will grant you renewed strength to forge a destiny where truth is not an enemy but an ally. It is not about abandoning the narrative that has served as your refuge but about transforming it, enriching it with the authenticity that emerges when you dare to confront your own fears. On this inner journey, you will discover that true power lies in the ability to choose, in the courage to decide which versions of reality deserve to remain and which must be left behind. Every challenge, every conflict, and every scar become lessons that push you to look beyond the surface. The freedom you so deeply desire is not a distant utopia but the result of an internal process of deconstruction and reconstruction, where transparency prevails over the comfort of falsehood. Transformation begins the moment you decide not to passively accept what you have been told. The moment you question, without reservations, the story that has become your truth. Your existence, so complex and multifaceted, is defined by your ability to reinvent yourself. Do not let the fear of the unknown stop you from delving into the depths of your mind, from venturing into those territories that, though riddled with uncertainty, may offer you the key to unlocking a version of yourself unbound by conventions. Every moment is an opportunity to break free from invisible chains, to rewrite the narrative that holds you back, and to turn every experience, no matter how bitter it may seem, into a cornerstone of a new way of being. Finally, when the voices of the past try to lure you in with the familiar melodies of the unchanging, remember that you hold the power to define your destiny. The struggle against the inertia of the lies that have shaped your path is painful but essential. It is not the comfort of illusion that will lead you to fulfillment, but the courage to face every truth, no matter how harsh it may be. By tearing down the wall of deception that has limited your perception, you open yourself to a horizon where freedom manifests in every conscious decision, in every honest word, and in every action that brings you closer to the essence of who you are. At this crucial moment, you stand before the possibility of choosing between remaining a mere spectator in a story written by others or becoming the undisputed author of your own life. The decision is not an easy one, for it requires abandoning the safety of the known and embracing the uncertainty of authenticity. But in this act of rebellion against inertia, you will discover that truth, no matter how raw and dazzling, is the only tool capable of freeing you from the shackles that have hindered your growth. Every lie, every disguise you have accepted as part of your identity comes at a price that, over time, is paid in the form of unfulfilled dreams and wasted potential. Recognizing this reality does not mean condemning yourself to a life of distress. Rather, it opens the possibility of transforming every mistake into a lesson, every shadow into an opportunity to shine with your own light. It is in this transformation that you will realize authenticity is not achieved by denying the past but by accepting it and learning to reshape it with the honesty that emerges from the depths of your being. You, who have walked a path filled with predetermined narratives, have the power to forge a new direction, to build a story that honors both your scars and your victories. The task is arduous, and the process is not without sacrifices, but the reward is unparalleled. The freedom to be yourself, without filters or masks, in a world that, despite its complexity, brightens when authenticity prevails over falsehood. It is in this act of courage that the power of transformation lies, where every truth embraced becomes a firm step toward an existence without chains. The final question that echoes in your thoughts is an invitation to reflection. What lie has defined your existence, and how are you willing to rewrite that chapter? The answer is not immediate, but within it lies the possibility of rebirth. Challenge conventions, break free from the narratives that have kept you imprisoned, and remember that the key to true freedom lies in your ability to see, without fear, the cage that holds you. With every word you speak, every step you take, you have the opportunity to reconstruct the story of your life with authenticity, transforming every deception into a lesson and every mistake into the foundation of a new identity. Do not let the echoes of falsehoods prevent you from reaching the greatness that lies dormant within you. The opportunity for change resides in the determination to leave behind the comfort of illusion and to embrace, with all the strength that defines you, the reality that, though challenging, offers the promise of a fulfilling existence. Today, as you listen to these words, feel the walls that have held you captive begin to crumble, and allow the light of sincerity to illuminate every corner of your being. The power to transform your life does not lie in the imposed narrative but in the courage to write, with your own hands, the version of reality that truly sets you free. As this moment of introspection comes to an end, understand that the true revolution begins within. It is the ability to confront your contradictions, to accept every imperfection, and with determination, to choose the path that leads to liberation. It is not about completely denying what has been lived, but about a continuous reinvention that allows you to evolve, that urges you to question relentlessly, and that drives you to build, day by day, a life in which honesty is the guiding light of your journey. And so, as the words calling for deep transformation resonate in your mind, you find yourself at a decisive crossroads. Will you remain a prisoner of an inherited narrative, or will you dare to tear down the walls of deception and sculpt, with the authenticity of your actions, the destiny you have always longed for? The answer, hidden in the courage of your gaze, waits for you to embrace the truth in all its complexity. Remember that every step toward authenticity, no matter how small it may seem, is a triumph over the insidious power of falsehood. Freedom is not found in the passive acceptance of what you have been told, but in the ability to challenge, to reconfigure, and to reinvent the story that defines you. The path is arduous and, at times, lonely, but the reward is the certainty of living without the chains of an imposed narrative, of being the undisputed author of every word and every silence. Today, you have the opportunity to turn every lie into a lesson of strength, every shadow into a reminder of the courage that resides within you. The challenge is immense, but the possibility of freeing yourself from the prison of falsehoods is a call to bravery that you cannot ignore. With every heartbeat, with every breath, reaffirm your commitment to a life where truth, though painful, is the driving force behind your evolution. The journey to authenticity invites you to break down the walls that have defined your world, to rid yourself of the invisible shackles that keep you from living fully. Allow yourself to question, to inquire, and, most importantly, to transform the narrative that has shaped every moment of your life. Within that transformation lies the key that will lead you to true freedom, a freedom not measured in empty words but in the conviction of being yourself, without reservations or pretense. Today, as these words seep into every corner of your being, open your heart to the possibility of rewriting your story. Because, in the end, what truly matters is not absolute truth or perfect lies, but the ability to turn every experience into a vital lesson that makes you the architect of your own destiny. And so, when the echo of your footsteps resounds in the vast corridor of time, you will remember that the decision to break free was always in your hands, waiting to be taken with the determination of someone who knows that the first step toward freedom is seeing the cage that has kept them captive. Choose, then, to walk toward the truth that challenges you, that hurts you, and that, at the same time, sets you free. Let every spoken word become a manifesto of your power to transform the past and your strength to forge a future where authenticity is the compass that guides you. Today, as you face reality with renewed eyes, understand that the story you were told no longer has a place in the narrative you will build. Truth, in its raw magnificence, is the tool that will open the doors to a horizon of unlimited possibilities, where the power to decide your own existence is the greatest victory. With every heartbeat, with every step, reaffirm your commitment to living with integrity. Leave behind the chains of deception and allow the light of sincerity to illuminate the path you have chosen. The story you embark on today is not merely an echo of the past, but the manifestation of a future where authenticity and freedom merge in a perpetual dance. And in that dance, you will discover that true greatness lies in the ability to turn every lie into a lesson, every mistake into momentum toward liberation, and every shadow into the prelude to a light that guides you without hesitation. You have the power to break away from the imposed narrative, to rewrite the destiny that was taken from you for so long by foreign voices. With the determination to be true to your essence, embark on the path of authenticity and let every word, every silence, and every gesture be a testament to the courage of living without masks. The opportunity to transform your life is in your hands. It is up to you alone to choose freedom over illusory comfort and truth over deceptive consolation. As this journey through deception and authenticity comes to an end, one lingering question remains in the air. Are you willing to tear down the walls that have kept you captive and rebuild, with the force of your will, a reality where you are the sole owner of your destiny? The answer is not immediate, but within that dilemma lies the seed of a profound transformation, an invitation to live fully, consciously, and above all, freely. Today, as you finish listening to these words, I invite you to reflect and take the first step toward the freedom you so deeply desire. Because, ultimately, the greatness of your existence is not measured by the number of lies you have accepted, but by the courage with which you choose to face the truth, no matter how complex or challenging it may be. Live each moment with the certainty that, by turning every story into a lesson, you become the true architect of your destiny, the creator of a limitless existence where authenticity is the light that never fades. Choose to be the protagonist of your own story, and let every word you speak resonate as a manifesto of freedom. Transformation begins now, in this very instant, in the moment you decide that the story you were told no longer defines who you are. With every step, with every breath, open the door to a life where truth, despite its harshness, becomes the path that leads you to fulfillment. Remember that the first step to being free is seeing the cage that imprisons you, and only you have the power to tear it down.